So why do I bring up that LPES, that ISLEP conversion, the macro environment? Why is that important? Because you have to do research. You have to do research. I often tell of people who come into the U.S. The mistakes they make when they come into the U.S. market. Let's say you want to bring a product into the U.S. They make three mistakes over and over and over again. The number one mistake they make is that they don't find an expert to help them in the market. So you have to understand, you have to find an expert when you go into the international market. And in the U.S., it's just as important to find an expert in the U.S. market to help you bring your product in, because there are people here, we have millions of people that have already brought product in that do it. And when a client engages me, I try to explain to them what they need to do. The second issue they have is they don't really do the research. They don't really understand the market. They think that, or the culture, they think that translating that document from Spanish to English gets them into the market. From Portuguese to English gets them into the market. No, that's a good start. That's a very elementary start, but you have to really understand the culture. You have to make sure that you find that place. And the third mistake that they make is that they don't understand the financing of the market. It takes a long time to enter an international market. The U.S. is one of the best markets to get in, but it could take you 18 months just before you start making a success selling your product, just product number one. It could take you 12 to 18 months even to start doing that. So you have to plan out your finances and you have to plan out your strengths when you enter into the U.S. market or any international market, right? You can't take a product from the U.S. into Poland. I went to a seminar just the other day about entering Poland. Well, the first thing the ambassador said, who was at the meeting, is you have to understand the market. Yes, we need product. We need help. We're buying a lot. We're growing so fast. I think it's the number of third, fourth, or fifth in the EU. But that doesn't mean you could just get on a plane, go into the market, and start doing business. Now, the U.S. is easy to open up a business, right? You can literally come off an airplane and say you're in business. That's how easy it is in the U.S. If you don't need licenses and certifications and all that, you can be in business by yourself tomorrow in the U.S. It's not complicated. Yeah.
But do they have licenses and like for kind of business here? Like,
It depends. You don't necessarily need a license to be in business in the U.S.
okay.
You could be a sole proprietor, right? You can sell, listen, what happens from people from the Caribbean coming to the U.S. or even from Brazil, okay? I launched a keratin product, a hair straightening product. And one of the big issues the company had was that people were coming in from Brazil with suitcases of their product and selling it. That happens from every single country. People bring 2 or 3 suitcases of product into the U.S. and as soon as they get off the plane, they start selling it. Now, there are laws and regulations, of course, and there are tax laws and regulations, but that's how easy it is to really sell something and to do business here in the U.S. You could still do that legally if you file with the state and all that, and you file your taxes. There's no law that says you can't do that, right? So that's how easy it is. However, if you're really going to put a flag in the U.S. market, if you're really going to sell something, you have to follow state and federal regulations, even city regulations. You have to follow those regulations, and you have to make sure that you're planning that, okay? The city of Miramar has regulations. Broward County here has regulations. State of Florida has regulations. The government of the United States has regulations. That's 4 levels of regulations that you have to follow at a minimum just to be properly in business. Okay, so you have to understand all that. And what part of the macro environment is that? That's the legal and the political. You have to understand that as you go into a market. Okay, that's really important. Don't make those 3 mistakes and just go into a market and expect to succeed right away, because nobody in any country is waiting for you to show up with their product. No one's going to say, I'm so excited you're here. Where have you been all my life? Especially in the U.S. We've got so many products. There's so much competition out there. You have to make yourself different. And that's where the strategy comes into play. Okay? That's where the strategy comes into play.